Okay, so in this video I want to go through the functionality of instanceOf method. If I spell instance right. Off. So I'll go through when to use this and how to use it and when's the best practice to do so. If I have, I have here my public class with a C line and it extends seals with my main method. And then I also have two other classes, seal and animal. So one's extending to the other. What I can do is have, let's say I want to create 3 C lines for whatever reason. If I do animal, tiger, no, let's just make it simple, A1 equals new C line. So this is my reference object, this is my object type. Excuse me. Another one would be animal A2 equals new animal. And then let's say C line, actually, yep, seal A3 equals new seals. Should be seals. Okay, good. So even though there's no information within any of these classes, what I'm trying to make it as abstract as possible. What I can do is determine whether or not a C line is either an instance of its own class or the class above. So any classes you essentially inherit when you create that new object type. So what I can do is let's say sys out again. Oh. Sys out, and then let's say A1 is an instance of animal. So this will turn back either true or false. And what it is here, I can see that A1 I've created a new C line. So you can see C line here is a public class because it extends seals and it extends animal. Because it returns back true because a C line is an instance of an animal because it's extended through the seals and inherits through the seals as well. Another quick example, if I do a sys out, let's say A1 is an instance of seals. So this should again return back true. Let me just pull this up here so you can see it. So fairly simple. Why would you use this? One thing to note is that obviously if you're doing if conditions and you're entering into arrays certain objects, for instance, or you're just having an extra reinforcements to make sure it is a certain instance. If I do a sys out, if I have A3 for instance as instance of yeah. So in this case, what I'm saying is that I'm checking whether or not a seal is an instance of a C line. So this is my object that I've created. It extends to the animal, so I need to determine whether or not it's an instance of a seal. I need to determine whether or not it's an instance of a seal or an instance of an animal in this case. Well, it is an instance of a seal or animal. If I run this, it returns back false. So quick demonstration on how to use an instance of. It's basically to determine whether or not it's an instance of a particular object. This is really ideal in the sense of creating new custom reference objects. One thing to note as well, if I do a sysout on an integer value, let's say, you know what, let's create a new integer I1 equals, or x equals 42. So what I can do is put in I can determine whether or not that x is an instance of, and let's say a string. You'll notice here that it comes up with an immediate issue, and the reason why this is that your IDE knows very well that there is these out-of-the-box objects that you're trying to determine. It already knows that integer is not an instance of a string, so it won't compile. Even though it's false, it still won't allow you to compile that successfully. So really, the instance of is good to use when you're creating various custom instances based on its inheritance from particular classes. So, quick demonstration there. I hope that clears things up, and thanks for watching.